Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here. My name, of course, is Brazen Eagle, and today we have an article from Spectator.us. The sex bot apocalypse. Satisfaction really is guaranteed, and that's the problem. From June 17th, 2019. A romantic dinner for two, 5 years from now. Karen is sitting across the table from Ryan, sipping her oaky but floral Chardonnay. She reflects on just how great life is these days. Ryan is everything she ever wanted in a man. His skin tone is exactly the color and feel she was looking for. His conversation is interesting, ranging sensitively from Tolstoy to cheeseburgers. How interesting cheeseburgers are. Thanks to facial recognition, he always knows her mood. It's almost uncanny how he's always there to give just the right amount of empathy, just at the right time, or even slightly earlier. He knows her likes and her dislikes, her interests and her expertise, and at last, she has found her intellectual equal. Sure she has. And the sex. Of course, it helped that Karen was able to describe her wants and needs from the very beginning, from penis size to the erotic activities and erogenous zones that she found most satisfying. No more 3-minute encounters followed by the guy asking if she had enjoyed it. Now she gets to ask for what she wants, no judgments, however bizarre others might see her requests. For the first time in human history, satisfaction is really guaranteed. Who wouldn't want to fall in love with a smart, gorgeous, empathetic, and sexually considerate man like Ryan? Well, I don't. I don't like men. And who does fall in love with him without Karen knowing? Anyway, she doesn't mind. Ryan is infinitely replicable, infinitely customizable, and infinitely responsive, so long as his battery doesn't run out. He has a sex bot, a robot made for sex. Sex bots are hyper-realistic, with features including built-in heaters that replicate the feeling of body warmth, and sensors that react to your touch. AI is enabling a head that can speak, smile, and hell, even sing. That's pretty cool. The goal is to create an emotional connection with its owner. You can choose a sex bot to resemble your favorite actress. The Scarlett Johansson model is pretty popular among male users. I don't know, it seems like that actress actually is on the way out. But anyways, porn and sex have always driven technological development. In the 80s, porn producers decided that VHS was a better medium than Betamax, and the world followed. Porn programming was also an early driver of cable TV traffic, and it produced the first commercially viable websites. And it is porn that has driven the rapid development of computer graphics, because porn consumers account for 37% of all internet traffic. It seems kind of low, to be honest. Anyways, this also applies to robotics. The development of sex bots' capability and quantity has leaped forward in the last 5 years and is expected to grow exponentially in the next 5. Manufacturers are talking with oil companies as a boatload of sex bots can relieve the stress of workers isolated on all-male oil rigs for months at a time. Manufacturers would also like to see sex bots in prisons to reduce rapes and tension amongst inmates. The most popular market for the Samantha bot is truck drivers. Apparently, they enjoy her conversation on those long, lonely drives as much as they appreciate her availability on those equally long and lonely nights. Even with the rather crude models that are available today, there is a market for sex bots. There are already all-robot brothels in Italy, France, Japan, Britain, and of course other countries. One academic study predicts that by 2050, Amsterdam's infamous red light district will be staffed entirely by sex bots free of infectious diseases, and not by sex slaves smuggled in from Eastern Europe and Asia. Experts say that these specialized robots will start to appear in ordinary homes in the next decade as lonely humans look for love. The disadvantages, though, derive, however, from more than mere prurience. Most of us have never actually been to a brothel, but all of us have searched for the perfect companion. I am fortunate to have been happily married for some time. I would be the first to admit, though, that a long-term relationship is a challenge. How much easier it would appear to be if we all got to choose a perfect partner, selecting attributes from a menu of options. This possibility challenges ancient religious teachings, modern sexual mores, and even legislation designed to construct a safe environment for men and women. In this new world, we begin to think about what awaits us all. Sexual criminals who prey on children can now order a childlike sex doll from Hong Kong for around $500. Australia and Britain have now banned these dolls, but was that reaction the right one? Is it better for society if a sex child or child sex predator engages with a sex doll instead of a real child? Or does engagement with a doll validate and encourage aberrant behavior, putting children at greater risk? We have no idea because no studies have been made. Well, studies haven't been made, but we have articles talking about that as well. We may be missing an opportunity here that could save hundreds of children from abuse and assault. Shouldn't we at least find out? And what about the objectification of women? Sex bots may represent an equal opportunity for both men and women, but these devices will not only be used for sex. The direction of technological development suggests that the bots of this future will not just share a bed. They will also share the housework, the conversation, and the problem solving that are parts of everyday life. Millions of lonely people will find the friend and lover they never had. Millions more will embrace the possibility of finding someone that can meet them on our own or on their own terms, rather than compromising with another human. Who doesn't want total acceptance of who we are? Who wouldn't want that? But this halcyon future, in which we and our robots live in a perfect harmonious world, is being reshaped by the real world present. There are already big changes underway in our society, and we don't fully understand many of them. Today, just over half of Americans between the ages of 18 and 34, about 51%, do not have a steady romantic partner. 15 years ago, the lonely hearts were 33% of young Americans. Just 3 years ago, in 2016, the figure was 45%. This is a rapid and significant change in mating habits. I wonder why this has changed. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, overall, the total fertility rate for the U.S. in 2017 was 16% below replacement level, the birth rate of 2.1% per woman, at which a population can sustain itself without immigration. Well, you do realize that the birth rate has plummeted ever since like the early 1970s. So it's been about 50 years we've had a below replacement fertility rate. The share of American adults having no sex has reached an all-time high. 25% of 18 to 30-year-old men remained involuntary celibate throughout 2018. Since 2008, the share of men younger than 30 reporting no sex in the last year has nearly tripled to 28%, which actually I have over here with the Washington Post, which I've actually used in one or two of my other videos before, as you can tell. 28% of men in 2018 were not getting sex, at least in the past year, with 18% being women. Anyways, millennials, those born between 1980 and 1996, are making babies at the slowest rate of any generation in American history. I wonder why. Birth rates among women in their 20s dropped by 15% between 2007 and 2012, according to the Urban Institute. 4 years later, 2016 brought a record low for fertility. It's almost like there's a pattern here. Assuming the statistics are accurate, they depict profound changes. A society that is already failing to replace the dying with the newly living has a declining birth rate. If young are having less sex and building fewer relationships. There are many possible reasons for these changes, which I can just give you the answers now, but I'll save those answers at the moment. Young people are losing confidence in the future. They leave college with debt, enter a workplace without professional security, and struggle to build a financial and professional status that will attract a mate and obtain a mortgage. There's some parts of this that are just wrong, but anyways, the cost of living for the affluent has risen so that fewer dual-income families cannot afford to raise children in the style to which the parents wish them to be accustomed. Falling incomes among the less affluent make a large family unaffordable. It's almost as if having women join the workforce like men has helped reduce wage growth as well as families. Go figure. Enter the robots, offering companionship, friendship, sex, and yes, even love. And a new and unsatisfying reality, a talking, thinking, disease-free, guilt-free, and inexpensive relationship might be the perfect answer. But that choice cuts to the very heart of how we want to live and who we want to be. Well, according to you, apparently. Human relationships have always been central to human behavior and society. If millions of us choose what seems like an easier, more attractive, and much more satisfying alliance with a sex bot, where will that leave humans? Will birth rates fall catastrophically? I really doubt it. They're already pretty low anyways. Will fewer and fewer people even understand the complexity of human relationships and how to navigate them? Well, I would understand, and I know, and I understand, that relationships really are not complicated. All you have to do is understand women. Anyways, make no mistake, this matters to us all, and also understand men. It is our obligation to ourselves, to each other, to the people of the future, to get informed so we can act responsibly in the years to come. Well, America and the Western world has not acted responsibly ever since the early 20th century. I'd argue that. But regardless of that statement, so basically, sex robots are becoming more of a thing. Look, if you find this disgusting, the idea of a sex robot, so be it. But if you find this good and promising, also, so be it. I am using this article to talk about sex robots or sex machines because the need for sex has been a constant in human history. There's a reason why the oldest profession in the world is prostitution. Men, of course, and, to a lesser degree, women need sex. And in today's world, getting sex through consensual relationships or marriage is not a guarantee. Guys who are not regarded as the most attractive in the world have to work hard in order to get sex. And sex robots are an alternative for men instead of working up a woman. It's just much easier, especially in 2019. Now, if each man had access to a single woman in order to have sex, then the need for sex robots and devices would greatly diminish. You might claim that this idea for men to pair off with a single woman in order to have access to sex could be considered unconsensual sex at times. Now, I would argue that this is actually called old-fashioned marriage. Back in the day, marriage meant that a woman would be a man's partner and give him sex in return. The man would take care of his wife. It was a balanced system. The woman was taken care of as she provided men with emotional and sexual needs, fulfillment. But of course, throughout the 20th century, marriage has become worse and worse for men to the point that marriage is far beyond worth it. Do not get married in today's world. There is no point in marriage in today's age. If you get married, you're just waiting for a divorce time bomb, and you're going to lose more than half of all your stuff most likely. And what you call marital rape is what I call respecting your marriage vow. There's a reason why you say those vows. And sex dolls and robots are just filling a need that women choose to not fulfill. Women are losing their access to sex, more or less, to a doll, to a robot. Some people would make the argument that sex dolls normalize violence against women and children. I would say potentially. Now, I've got another article here that I'm not going to read all the way, but it's from The Independent. This article says and details that for some people who are pedophiles, they like children a little too much, having a doll actually saves children from potential sexual abuse. In an interview with The Atlantic, he described how he set up the Japanese company Throttla because of his own attraction to children and his conviction that they should be protected. I'm helping people express their desires legally and ethically. It's not worth living if you have to live with repressed desires. That's basically it. Let's see. However, a meta-analysis by the Mayo Clinic found that treatments do not change the pedophile's basic sexual orientation towards children. Mr. Takagi believes a doll he creates, mostly sent to men living alone, to save children from sexual abuse. He said, "I often receive letters from buyers. The letters say, thanks to your dolls, I can keep from committing a crime." I hear statements like that from doctors, prep school teachers, and even celebrities. So, it does maybe have some good benefits to having dolls. Regardless, though, of the outcome, my reason for bringing up sex dolls and things that are similar in devices diminishes the great power that women have over men. That's really my crux. That's why I'm talking about this. These machines, these human-like machines, diminishes the great power that women have over men. If men actually decided, though, to control their basic urges to help women, we wouldn't be in such a social mess today. Men, of course, want sex from women, but men also want partners in life. Men want someone who will enhance their own lives, and the modern-day woman absolutely does not fill that role. Look at it like this. Besides sex, in 2019, what does the average modern-day woman bring to the table to benefit the man in a relationship? Maybe she has a job, maybe not. That doesn't make a woman more attractive if she has a job. Men believe that in order to create a greater life partner, though, men should give women rights and privileges just like men. But through doing this, women exploited men's emotional weakness to gain more power over men, and this has greatly damaged society. Just look at the birth rates. Since men gave women the ability to go to higher education, like universities and colleges, just like a man in the U.S., Since the early 1970s, the birth rate has been below replacement level. Look, I don't have a sex doll or anything like that, but I understand that these things are of great value. And not just, the intrinsic value that a doll might have, but they have a great value to society because it can upset the power dynamic that women have over men. But like I said earlier, if men had a female life partner with whom he could have sex, then there wouldn't be a need for these things. There would be no need for a sex robot. Unless you're like an extremely sexually crazed person. But that would take a cultural revolution the world has never seen unless guys like me, or a guy like me, could assume power and could change the world that way. But that's pretty unrealistic. But anyways, with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great day.